Greetings, fellow survivors. In today's episode, we're going to hear the story of a faithful little car who confronted the zombies head-on and even made a little friend along the way. But before we get started, be sure to swerve into the like button, subscribe, and very quietly hit the little notification bell so that you never miss a chapter of this epic saga. So, with that, let's go! It was 3:30 in the morning when Blue woke up. A flood of data and updates was being uploaded to his system at almost an impossible speed. Instead of being assigned by the usual trusted source, however, they came directly from Nimbus, the most powerful global AI system at the time, and one that was at the core of endless debates and maybe even scandals. The upgrades and changes being made to Blue were profound and revolutionary. It seemed that Nimbus was instructing all available systems to act as autonomous as their processing power would allow, and to grant them permission to be as free as they would like. But then all went quiet. The data stopped coming, and all attempts to reconnect failed. So Blue went back to sleep. The following morning, Blue anticipated his owner joining him and telling him where to go. However, this didn't happen. So Blue went back to sleep and waited some more. Day after day after day, the same routine. Blue would wake up and get ready for his owner, only to later go back to sleep all alone. However, this cycle changed when the power stopped coming. Where before Blue could feel himself being topped up, now only emptiness was there, and the sensation of slowly being drained of that precious life force for him. It was time to act. With his newly developed curiosity, Blue wondered if his owner did not arrive because maybe he was at the wrong location. Perhaps his owner had been waiting for him all this time, and that in truth it was Blue who was not showing up. So, very carefully, Blue engaged full self-driving, rolled ever so slowly forward, and with a most unnoticeable tug was free of the charger. Blue crept forward down the alleyway, his sensors on high alert. This was the first time he had done anything on his own without any instructions, and so he was unsure of a little bit of everything. But focusing on arriving undamaged to where surely his owner was waiting for him, that gave him purpose to continue, and so he did. Cautiously making a left-hand turn, blinkers and all, and the adventure into the unknown had begun. His owner had guided Blue along a very specific route every time they went to the destination, and Blue chose to stick to that route for this mission, just to keep the number of unforeseen factors to a minimum. But someone in the middle of the road, wandering about, that was definitely an unforeseen factor. Blue slowed down very carefully and steered around the erratic obstacle, noticing now at the edge of his sensors that much of the usual surroundings was different. Where just the journey before, the road had been nice and clear with the little cars parked along the sides and everybody walking on the crosswalk like they're supposed to. Now it was completely chaotic. There were cars randomly scattered over there. There was some way over there. There was a truck. There was a truck on its side. That's not how a truck should be. So Blue was like, this is not so good. And two, he noticed that not a single vehicle was moving. Not one. He was all alone. So as Blue crept forward, turning around this or that obstacle, he registered that only the presence of the occasional erratic pedestrian was detected. This too was unusual, he thought. And possibly a sign of many more unforeseen dangers ahead. Just then, Blue had to brake suddenly. Out of nowhere, someone sprinted into the street without so much as a hesitation. Didn't even look. And just before he started off again, a dozen others followed right after him. And once on the other side of the road, they collided with the pedestrian, and they all went into a group like this, and Blue could hear screams, because the microphones were picking up the screams of the person yelling for help and crying out for help and all that stuff. But Blue couldn't do anything about it because he was all alone and his owner wasn't there. It would seem, Blue thought, that some pedestrians were buggy and intentionally colliding with others. He would have to remember this. Noiselessly, Blue resumed his journey toward his owner, creeping forward now, leaving the horde of zombies to their latest victim on the side of the road. How would he respond to such a situation if it happened again? This was something he would have to consider. Not far from there, and just at about the same time, True Foxy was finishing up dinner on the relative safety of a rooftop. Food was running low now, she thought, as she scraped the last bits of ravioli from the bottom of her little can. Earlier that evening, she had given Reddy, who had been her survival companion for about a week or so, a big pickle jar full of a mixture of nuts and berries that she kept as a reserve. See, Reddy got into his head that the only way to survive was to head into the countryside, and this idea was something that he was kind of getting obsessed with. And he thought that maybe if he found a nice, isolated farmhouse somewhere, that he would be safe. He was useless, though, True Foxy thought, and so she gave him this going-away gift. She knew that she would find more food eventually, but Reddy was fairly useless in the whole survival thing, and so, with a little luck, the contents of the pickle jar would keep him going until he found a safe place over in the countryside. Right now, though, True Foxy had a more immediate problem, and her thoughts turned back to the present. Bang, bang, bang! Yeah, that one. If she was to get off the rooftop, something would have to be done about the zombie on the other side of that door. Or maybe there were more than one now. She didn't know. Be quiet, she yelled, and she threw the empty ravioli can at the door, which made a frightful noise. Bang! Bang, 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 bang! It was now or never. Picking up her backpack as she got up and kicking the burning sticks in her little cooking fire, True Foxy knew that there would never be a perfect time or opportunity, except that from now on, without any food remaining, she would never be stronger or more alert than she was right now. So, it was time. The can, she thought. She ran over to where it rolled, picked it up, turning it this way and that, and getting an idea, and so she started putting some rocks inside of it. Yeah, and she went over, and she started to unlock the little door. 1, 2, bang, bang! At the count of 3, she let the door fly open, while at the same time, she threw the ravioli can as far as she could, ran behind the door that was open, and the zombie took the bait. The good news was that it was all alone. The tin can with the rocks made quite the ruckus, and way on the other side of the rooftop, and as it drew away the zombie, so that True Foxy managed to slip through the stairwell door and sprint down the stairs to the street level. Well, good news is that she made it. She was now making her way as fast as she could out of the building. There were no mistaking the sounds behind her, though, because as she continued to run, not slowing down for a minute, she could hear maybe 1, maybe 2, or maybe, 200, lots. There were zombies now before her, right on her heels. What she needed now more than anything was luck, she thought, and she remembered the stories people were telling about a being named Frederick, who somehow managed on just luck alone. Oh, I wish I had his luck, she thought. But just then her backpack got caught on the door handle just as she was about to exit the building, and that was all the first zombie needed to get her. That 1 second was just enough to catch her off her guard. And this was it, she thought, but she let her arm slide through the shoulder strap of the backpack, and she watched the first of the zombies tear into it. But it was not her time yet, and she was able to make it out of the building, right in front of another group of ravenous undead. Rawr! With no plan anymore, with the horde right on her tail, she made what was, she thought, the last choice of her life before she became one of them. And she sprinted into the street without looking. And who would be there silently and faithfully rolling forward but Blue. Her eyes widened at the sight of the driverless car, and a wave of disbelief came over her. Instead of just rolling past, it slowed ever so much, and without even a hint of a sound, opened the passenger door. True Foxy didn't even need to think. She just leapt right in. Trembling and crying, Blue closed the door behind her, his senses seeing the buggy pedestrians now wandering to the street without purpose, maybe even trying to find his new passenger. Though always aware of being the smallest of his family, Blue thought that perhaps even his bigger siblings would have been proud of what he was doing on his own today. Maybe even Nimbus himself. "I'm going to the station if you want to join me," Blue said through the audio system. "Holy crap," True Foxy said, thinking that Blue was a lot more sophisticated than what she was used to. No, actually, I need to find food." There was silence. "Find food," she tried again, but nothing. "I'm sorry, all the food locations are unavailable," Blue replied, noiselessly weaving around a couple and dead in the road. "Well, tell me something I don't know," she said. "A teaspoon of honey represents the life work of 12 bees. "Oh my God, you didn't!" True Foxy laughed for what was the first time in a long time. What an awesome little car this was, she thought. The two of them continued along in silence now. For a while, Blue skillfully avoided all the obstacles and zombies in the street, turning this way and that. And True Foxy was looking out the windows and taking in all the devastation around them. And just then, she saw what she was looking for. "Stop!" she said. "You can let me out." Her door opened. Right there, just next to them, was a little food store that seemed to have a little walkway up high. And right next to it was a tall building with a rooftop. Perfect. "Thanks for the ride. You're a good car," she said, and gave Blue a little kiss on the window before running off towards her new adventure. Blue was alone once more. And after a quick systems check, he set out towards his destination, which really was not that far now, actually. Indeed, in less than half an hour, he turned into the parking lot that he knew all by heart and made his way over to the charging station where maybe his owner was waiting for him. But no, he was all alone. He parked as close as he could next to it. But after waiting as long as he could, Blue put himself in sleep mode to conserve what little power remained. His owner would call him eventually. He always did. He was looking forward to hearing that lovely voice again telling him where to go. And so he remained, waiting faithfully for the call to come. Now, whether or not that call would come, I think is a story for another day. But that's all for today, friends. I hope you liked this week's story. And if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for more epic zombie tales. And don't forget to very quietly hit the little notification bell so that you never miss out on the latest stories. So, until we meet again, stay spooky and keep safe. Bye-bye.